Hey guys, welcome back to the land of books and movies. This week's story is meant to stir a lot of emotions and not good ones. The title really popped out to me on the disturbing novel iceberg chart, and it's a few levels below top tier. And top tier is garden variety boogeyman horror movies like Freddy and Jason, stuff that will never happen. Whereas what's in this book, it has always happened, it does happen, and it always will happen, unfortunately. And strangely enough, for me, a book on here two or three on the disturbing novel Iceberg is the film adaptation is one of those shocking, yes, it can happen to you movies they showed on cable TV in the 90s. I'm talking about Bastard Out of Carolina. And obviously, since it went from upper middle tier on Disturbing Novel Iceberg to Lifetime, I think, it's watered down. So here we go. All right, we've got a small town redneck family in the early 60s and the lingering shame of single motherhood. Everything from the book and the movie start off the same, with Bone narrating her own story from the day she was born during a car accident and how she was the light of her mother's family even though she couldn't quite shake the stigma of not having married parents. The movie leaves out the speculation in the book that the man who sired her is a married cad who can't stop passing his dick around like a plate of Rice Krispie treats. But that's neither here nor there, because her mother Annie has finally found her Prince Charming. His name is Lyle, and now they're gonna have a new baby, her sister Reese, and everything seems to be falling into place until Lyle is killed. Not long after that, we meet the monster in this piece. His name is Glenn, and he is a cliche. He's perfect on paper. He comes from a prominent family, and when he marries Annie, he accepts her kids as his own. Now they're having a third child. And it seems like a new lease on happiness is on the horizon until tragedy strikes again. Annie has a very brutal miscarriage that renders her barren. And now with it, and that brings us to the second difference from book to movie. In the movie, Glenn violates Bone for the first time in an abundance of excitement over the impending birth. In the book, he jumps her while in the throes of grieving the death of the baby. And going from there, Glenn's true colors are on full display. He cannot keep a job or a place to live. He is the loser black sheep of his prominent family. Phone is his most frequent punching bag, and things get so bad that there's no food in the house and Annie has to go back to work, but she won't leave him. There are two things that are only in the book to add the thickness of the story, and also the disturbing elements that make it upper middle tier. There are moments of intimate awakening in Bone and Reese, where there is, here and there talk of rub outs. The other is kind of a kindred spirit Bone found in a girl named Shannon. Shannon was the daughter of gospel preachers, and she was an albino, and she took a lot of crap about her appearance. And while they were friends, they did have one falling out. They patched that up like, children do. But tragedy still strikes poor Shannon. Behold. Shannon had put her glasses back on, had the lighter fluid can in one hand, and she took up that long-handled fork in the other. She poked the coals with the fork and sprayed them with the fluid. The can made a popping noise as she squeezed it. She was trying to get more of the coals burning, it seemed. Or maybe she just liked the way the flames leaped up. She sprayed and sprayed, pulled back and sprayed again. Shannon shook her hand, heard the lighter fluid can sputter and suck air. I saw the flame run right up to it and go out. Then it came back with a boom. Can exploded and fire ballooned out in great rolling ball. Shannon didn't even scream. Her mouth was wide open, and she just breathed the flames in. Her glasses went opaque. Her eyes vanished. All around her skull, her fine hair stood up in a crown of burning glory. Her dress whooshed and billowed into orange-yellow smoky flames. I saw the fork fall, the wooden handle on fire. I saw Mrs. Pearl come to her feet and start to run toward her daughter. I saw all the men drop their iced tea glasses. Saw Shannon stagger and stumble from side to side and then fall in a heap. Her dress was gone. I saw the smoke turn black and oily. I saw Shannon Pearl disappear from this world. Brutal. All right, the rest of the book and the movie are spot on, all the way up to the bitter end. Annie's sister dies after a long illness. And after the funeral, her aunt sees the welts and bruises and scars all over Bone's backside, and she summons all of Annie's brothers and cousins, and they drag Glenn outside and give him a good redneck ass whooping. Annie finally leaves Glenn and finds a place just for her and Bone and Reese to live. While Bone is staying with her Aunt Ray, Glenn makes a move to patch things up that Annie is amenable to. But Glenn insists that Bone come with him to be a family again. She stands up for herself for the first time, and Glenn just snaps. He beats and violates Bone, and Annie catches him in the act and smashes a bottle over his head. Just as it seems like Annie just might come to her senses, no, the story has a sad ending. She's too scared of the cop, Bone is too scared of the cop questioning her to tell him it was Glenn who put her in the hospital. And she will never go back to live with Annie because she will not leave Glenn. She loves him even though he's a garbage human. And they're in a time and a place where divorce and single mothers were the lowest of the low. And that is all for Bastard Out of Carolina. Thank you for joining me this week. Please do all the pointing and clicking necessary to help me keep this channel growing. And see you next book and movie.